Do you have a family member who's been diagnosed with Down syndrome? If you do, listen to what we have to share here. This is Miss Rutherford and her young little boy, Jesse, and they live in Florida. They come to my clinic in South Florida, and we've had some incredible improvement with little Jesse's functions in just a very short period of time. So if you could share with them what you know about Down syndrome and what was going on with Jesse and why you brought him here.
Okay, so I have a sister who is 21 and she has Down syndrome. And so I've been in this world for a long time. I work with people who have special needs. In fact, when I was pregnant with him, all of my clients had Down syndrome. So I know Down syndrome well. And when Jesse was born, we found out he had Downs, and so I knew right away we wanted to bring him down as soon as we could to get him tested for everything, because my other sister you had seen, and it was like a total transformation. So when we brought Jesse down, he had a horrible rash covered, like an eczema type rash. The back of his knees were splitting open. He had the cradle cap. It was just real nasty. I had cut dairy and gluten out of my diet, and it still wasn't going away.
Because he's only breastfeeding from your breast milk.
Yeah, he's only breastfed. And
but your change in diet did not change his skin.
It helped a little bit, but it was still, the skin was still cracking, and nothing I was doing topically was working or anything. So we brought him down because of that. And the first time we brought him, he was just about 3 months, give or take a couple of weeks, maybe 3.5 months. And he was not, he was 3.5 months, because he was not holding his head up for even a second. At that point, all the charts say, typically kids should be holding their heads at about 3 seconds. And he, was so wobbly, couldn't do it at all. So
you had to hold him and always cradling his head.
Yes.
It was impossible for him.
Yeah, absolutely impossible. We have been working and doing the little exercises and everything we're supposed to do, and nothing was changing. So
these I'm sorry to interrupt, but these exercises prescribed by physical therapy,
yes.
Occupational therapy?
Yeah, physical therapist, okay. Yes. And and nothing was helping. Literally the next day after we saw you, he held his head up for 3 minutes, which is like unheard of even for that age for a typical child, not one with Downs. So that, as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, 100%, this is the real deal. Like, I believe it. Whatever Dr. Herman tells us to do, we'll do it. So that was a huge change. Then within a few days, the rash completely cleared up. And since then we've had physical therapists, we've had speech therapists come in, and all of them have told me he's 5.5 months now. He at 5.5 months is doing far better than other children they're seeing with Downs who are 10, 11 months old. And you can see he's got some good strength. Yeah. Standing up here.
He's holding his head up.
Yes, holding it up.
Look at that expression. Good
I know, and he's so attentive. When we brought him at 3.5 months, he was still like a newborn. He would make eye contact with you and was kind of interested in you, but there wasn't a ton of response. And now he is very attentive, very alert. Obviously, grabbing hair, pulling everything. Wants to get into everything. He'll look around at whoever's talking to him. He knows his name. When we lay him down, I can say, Jesse, give me your hands, and he'll give me his hands to pull him to sit up. Now when we smile at him, we'll like squint our eyes at him, and now he's squinting his eyes back at us. So it's just incredible to see how attentive and alert he is to us.
We've seen great development.
Oh, absolutely.
And reduction in the rash, but development of holding that head up.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing we noticed too, his eyes underneath were a little puffy, which is very common with Downs. His eyes are not puffy anymore. And one of the craziest things to me after all of this was looking at the shape of his eyes from newborn and then 3 months to now. His eyes are like a completely different shape. They're far more rounded. I've asked like all my friends and family, like, do you see this? Like, do you notice anything? And all of them, without any prompting, they're like, his eyes are so different. And we've even had both of our therapists that we're seeing now told me, I wouldn't know that he has Downs had you not told me, just because of his eyes and then his ability to do what they're wanting him to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hi. Have you told other parents who have children with Down syndrome about what's going on with your son?
Yes, I have.
And do they, when you read, or is that because you know them in person, or is that like following a Facebook group? Or?
Both. So I have clients that I meet with, that I provide services to, who have Down syndrome, and I've told their parents, like, you've got to bring them down. In fact, we've had some parents that have now, so I'm hopeful to see what kind of changes they have too. And then I'm in lots of Facebook groups. I'm in one that is for babies who were born within a 6-month window that he was born in. And I mean, almost every day I see someone post, it's been 5 months, he's still not holding his head up. Anybody else in the same boat? You know, there'll be 20 comments, yes, no progress yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm over here like, he's been doing it since 3 months, no problem. Yeah. So yeah, I've shared on there plenty of times, like,
so
guys, I know someone.
So you're seeing the reality, and for other people, it seems like it's it's impossible.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, like,
but it's not impossible.
No, it's not.
They think it's impossible because they haven't found out about this yet.
Right.
And they just don't understand the reason why, and everything they're probably told is that it's just a genetic problem, and that's the way it is.
Exactly, yeah, and like, people want to be so positive about it, which is great. Like, it's not a death sentence to have a child with Down syndrome, you know, but there are still things that can be changed. You know, you want them to do the best that they can, and we know with Downs they're more likely to develop things like Alzheimer's and leukemia and all that stuff too, that you don't see at such a little age like this. So, like, why would you not want to come and get everything cleared out? And then just the added benefit is that they're more alert and awake and moving all around. And
so you're pretty pleased.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So we found with him, it was really interesting, because I believe through my studies in immunology and neurology and so on, is that there's infections and chemicals, and understanding, we know that there's a genetic challenge that he has, okay? But when there's infections and chemicals that get into the brain and get into body parts, it causes that brain to not develop properly. Mm-hmm. And actually, and in addition to the rash, but what we found with him was that his lymphatic system had several viruses. He had the influenza A virus in there. He had the adenovirus, Epstein-Barr virus, influenza virus, and the chikungunya virus. And all these viruses were stressing his lymphatic system, and the nervous system, and the skin, and the organs, and the cardiovascular system all depend on a clean and healthy, perfect functioning lymphatic system. In addition to that, she had an epidural in order to give birth, because that was a very pretty long.
I was in labor for 38 hours, 30. And at 36 hours I got an epidural, and then they overdosed me and shut it off. So
the epidural chemical that helped to numb the lower half of her body so that they could help this childbirth process take place, make it easier on her. Mm-hmm. Understand that chemical that numbed the body also can get right through the umbilical cord right into the baby's brain. Yeah. And that is where I found it, in his brain, with a unique system that I practice, which you can go to my website. I'll put the website domain name here so that you can and in the link below the video here, you can go to my website and learn more about my unique process. But there was epidural chemicals, xylocaine it's called, in his brain and in different parts of his body. I'll put a list of them in the video here. So when we can clean out the brain and clean out the body from different kinds of bacteria and viruses, I just named a few here, but different viruses, different infections, and chemicals, like whether it's mercury or arsenic or chlorine or fluoride, or even a vaccine chemical, or even the epidural chemical, can get into that baby's brain and will definitely delay the development in that child, and even possibly put a stop to the development in that child. And right now, he's developing at a very normal pace for even a person who doesn't have Down syndrome, who's considered normal. He's holding his head up. You can see this here. He's getting some core strength. Probably by next visit in about 2 or 3 months, he's probably going to be able to sit up on his own and not need his mother's assistance. And we're pretty pleased about it. Is there anything that you want to say to any of the parents? And I really appreciate you getting on camera.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I just say, if you are considering this, or if you think just maybe, it is worth your time. It is worth the trip, absolutely. I mean, I've been working with people with Down syndrome. I've been to the groups. I've done everything since I was 2 years old. My sister was born, and it is just, you know, there's only so much that can be done when you're not treating the underlying things, you know, and so
the underlying causes.
Yeah, right, absolutely. And it's just because they have this genetic thing doesn't mean it's not exacerbated by all of these other things going on. So get that stuff cleared out. And I mean, it's just crazy to see what he was capable of in such a short time. I just think everyone should at least give it a try. You know, it is worth it, and we're seeing real results. Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate you for doing this.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate him.
Yeah.
And say goodbye to everybody. Jesse.
Say bye.
So you can help your family member improve. I'm ready to help you. Again, my website link is on this video and as well as below the screen. I'm also going to put up a couple of different videos of another person, a mother with a little young girl who had Down syndrome that we helped improve dramatically also. You saw that video as well. You'll look at those videos. There is a chance I can help you improve. I look forward to helping you as well. Hope to see you soon.